Anybody else need a nap? It's the Taurus new moon and the energy is very weird. If you are not familiar with these videos, I do them on the new and full moon every month, and they include a general collective reading for those of you watching on YouTube and in the masses, as well as a more hyper-focused reading over on my Patreon. So if what resonates in the general reading resonates for you, you might want to check out the Patreon reading at patreon.com/Michelle Shea. And you'll have to excuse the fact that I have a foster mom that is going through heat again, which feels very appropriate for the pleasure-seeking Taurus season that we're in, and she will not stop meowing. So if you want to play a little metaphysical drinking game every time you hear her meow, know that that is a message that maybe you want to listen a little heavily to. You're okay. My original plan was to do an all signs reading and pull a card or two for every sign for this new moon, but it's just not gonna happen. So know that that does happen at the first of every month over on the Patreon for the monthly tarot scopes, and you can check out this month there if you want a little more clarity on what's happening with your sign. But between that and losing daylight and needing a nap, I'm just gonna go with a classic reading. So we're gonna start with a Total Betty Goddess card, which is a deck of my creations, 90s icons playing the goddesses, available over at michellesheawalker.com as always, and we're gonna pull a card to figure out what kind of energy is going to be residing across this new moon. I don't know about you, but I need lots of snacks and lots of naps, and quite frankly, lots of self-care. So we'll see what goddess is gonna help with all of that. I think we got a jumper, and I think it's a 2. So we're gonna see what this duo has to say. First up, we have Taurus, played by Christina Applegate in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And next up, we have Iridia, played by Rose McGowan as Courtney Shane in the movie Jawbreaker. This is quite a duo. To break it down simply, we're dealing with a lot of shape-shifting and playing a lot of different roles, which would explain the exhaustion. Taurus season was not made for us to be going about and doing a ton of things. Yes, Taurians can get a lot of stuff done, but they're very focused on what their goals are and very stubbornly connected to their own path. So we're a lot more scattered during this Taurus season than we need to be. Case in point, the cat that won't stop meowing. That being said, Iridia is the goddess of witchcraft, witches, and the oppressed. So I think if we are using this energy that's a little split focus for the favor of the greater good, then we're doing it right. That being said, that doesn't mean that you don't still have to take care of yourself. So there's a feeling here that this new moon and this Taurus season has handed us an unexpected opportunity to sort of be of service to the world around us, or to speak up or represent a group that's slightly oppressed. And that's really fighting against our desire to just do deep self-care and luxuriate and give ourselves a spa day and take a nap in the middle of the afternoon. And the universe is handing us both of these things because we need to learn how to do both of them at the same time. Not at the exact same time, but concurrently with one another. We need to be able to waffle back and forth between these two things, because especially when you're tackling a big cause that has to deal with the well-being of your group or others, it can get really daunting. A great example of this is the writer's strike. So the writer's strike is dealing with not only individual needs, but like the needs of the masses. And there is such a thing as protest burnout, where if you don't sustain your self-care, it can get really, really depleting because there's so much energy, not just of your own inclusion, but the others around you and the world at large. And there's a lot of energy coming towards things like that. And so if you are involved in that or something similar, where you're trying to fight for the rights of someone who hasn't been giving the credit or the accolades or the money that they deserve, then you also need to make even more time for self-care. So you cannot use the excuse that you are fighting for a cause and so therefore you don't have time to take care of yourself because the cause is too important, because you are too important to the cause to not take time to take care of yourself. The image that I keep getting, if you have seen Don't Tell Mama the Babysitter's Dead, is when Sue Ellen is coming home from a hard day's work, taking care of her brothers and sisters, taking care of making money for everyone, and she just wants to get into a bath with cucumbers in her eyes to get ready for a date. And that is what it is. It's that sort of mom energy, even though she's not technically a mom in the movie. She's pretending to be a mom in the movie in some cases. It's that mother energy of having to do it all, but also carve out that little window of time that you can do something for yourself. So that's the first message. I can't believe that's just the first message, because that's so much energy coming at us that feels very split focus. So we're going to dive into the Modern Witch Tarot deck, and I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to pull an energy and advice card, and then over on my Patreon, I will dive into 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 cards. So we will go deeper there, but I'm going to keep it simple, not just for me and my day, but for you, because this energy has been kind of exhausting. So I want to make sure that we have time for a nap. Okay, so what energy and advice? All right, we got one jumper. I'm going to put it face down. I'm going to wait for our other jumper. I got a flipper. Okay, so our energy is the Nine of Swords, which is that feeling of staying up late at night, worrying about everything that you need to get done, worrying about the world at large, worrying about everything that you could possibly worry about. It's those just right before you go to bed thoughts that come through of everything that you need to do, everything that you haven't done, and everything that you wish that you could do. And that's never productive. And the best remedy that I have first to kind of deal with that is, if you are the type of person that has those thoughts, find a point, whether it's right before bed or sometime throughout their day, to free write everything that's in your head and just get it out of you, so that you get those weird rambling thoughts out of your system, and it'll hopefully lessen what happens right before bed because you've already taken care of it earlier in the evening. And then our advice card is Judgment. So Judgment is reminding us that there's a bit of karma at play, and that ultimately everyone's going to get what they deserve. And I mean that in the best way, but I also mean that as sort of a warning to be aware of where it is that you're channeling this energy, and is it in a positive and productive way when you're fighting for your cause, or is it sort of in a malicious, hateful, and judgmental way? The more that you can focus on what it is that you want to cause change, the change that you want to affect, rather than the people that are oppressing or the things that are in your way, the more that that energy is going to go that direction. So by being sort of hateful or jealous or malicious to parties that are maybe feeling like they're in the way of your goal, you're actually putting more focus and more energy towards them, which is hindering your cause energetically. So focus on the solution, not the problem, is the biggest thing that I'm getting from this. So with the Nine of Swords, focus on the solution, not the problems, because those problems are ultimately just running through your head. Again, the solution might be as simple as free writing so that you get those thoughts out of your head. But also, when you do have thoughts coming into your head or worries coming into your head, focus on the things that are going right. Focus on the things that you can manageably do to help affect the situation. And don't worry so much about the bigger picture, because those tiny little actions and that energy alignment is going to help the bigger picture to come together. So I'm going to do another reading. That feels like not enough, but I don't think we can handle everything that's supposed to be coming through. So I would say definitely sit on that energy, recognize how you can give yourself more self-care, how you can kind of let go of the things that are not in your control, which is very, very hard for Taurus energy, I know, but let go of the things that you don't ultimately have any control over, which is anything that's outside of yourself. And that's why self-care becomes so important, because you can control how you are and how you're feeling and how you're nourishing yourself. And that will affect the energy you show up in when you go out into the world, which is going to affect greater change. You can't affect what other people are doing that are pissing you off. You can only affect your reaction to it, and how to be solution-oriented rather than problem-focused. So with that in mind, we're going to dive into the extended. If you're not a Patreon member, you can head over to patreon.com/MichelleShea and join the monthly mystics, get the end of it. And I'm already getting cards flipping. So if you're watching over on the Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now. I have to remind you that we do have Pluto in Aquarius going retrograde back into Capricorn in June. And that is going to feel like a setback. It's going to feel like we're not making the progress that we thought we did with grand generational based topics. And these cards right now during this new moon are reminding us that we are moving in the right direction.